August 10th. Should have been doing that before the storm, bud. Hello, ladies. Sorry I'm late. We're still gonna get Eric a wrench. Howdy, Eric. I mean to get you a wrench. All right. Howdy, folks. Welcome back. I told you I would be back. All right. Check out this capture on the sun right here. Looks like a cross with a head on it right here, huh? And that's one of our objects. Let's just, while we're here, kind of zoom in on this really quick. That's what we'll be showing and talking about tonight. Got a couple of eyes on it too. Should come over to this instrument and look closer. Is that a crown up there? We'll come back and take a peek at that in a few minutes here. First off, let's get the ball rolling here. Get this started up. And while this is loading up here, whoops, I'll take a moment to thank you for taking a moment of your precious time to be here with this precious family. Let me tell you something about this channel. This is not your ordinary YouTube channel. This family is not your ordinary YouTube family. If you've made it to the end of this show and you have done some spiritual work through the spiritual report, you will indeed see how precious this family is and how precious you are to me. And I know these times are important. Each moment is important. So it's your time is important. So thank you. All right. It goes for every one of you. Eric will get you a wrench here. I got homework to do. I got back studio work and stuff to do still. So please forgive me. I'll get to you. You are a mod though. You're one of the family members. Okay. All right. Now what I want to do here, capture the opening frame, start marching through this. Then we'll get to our frame and we'll talk about that. Okay. 2348. 024, okay? August 10th, 2024, August 10th, 2024, 024. All right, here we are. First frame, an event already underway with the CME, or with the instrument registering a CME right here, okay? There isn't a big blast wave. Do you notice that? There's no big blast CME round curvature wave going with that one. It's expanding. It's connecting from this black one to this one up there. Almost like an electric arc from one pole to another pole, bzz, connecting. That's our opening frame right there. Okay. Something else going on up here. And you know what I want? There we go. Zoom in a little bit more for you guys. We'll go venture around right here. Okay, you can see this one right here. There's another one right up at the top up there, and it's connecting from that to this one. It reminds me like a science movie with the big old probes and this big electrical arc. But there is your widespread. Something probably went on back in the background there to cause this widespread, and then it's connecting to two of the little satellites that are accompanying it or whatever. Let you be the judge of that as well. Okay. Use your common sense and use your eyes. Okay. And don't just fall for what the mainstream media and science throw at you. All right. Because they have no idea what's going on out there. You see that little one right there still. Okay. I got to do little fidgets and adjusting, so just bear with me. Had a very long, irritating day, so I'm going to have to continue my salvage work during the show. Okay, something in there too, but I want to get to our main event here, because here it comes off the top of the sun. It looks like almost like a shield or a crown with a face or something right here. Okay, then we have our black object back here. All right, moving through. So there's multiple things going on, spiritual event, and that's our next frame right there. And here's our big black object right in that vicinity right there. Let me pull back just a tad bit more so you can kind of see. Let's go back a frame. Is that a full frame? Woo. All right, let's go back a frame. That's the one I'm interested in right there. Go back one more. You should come over here. Jimmy, I was thinking of you today. I heard you. Anyways, very interesting captures going on over here. When we pull back from this image right here, it's this image like the cross with a head on it. All right, so then let me zoom back to normal. Are we at normal? Yeah, we are. Okay. And continue on with this because that moves on out of frame there. See our little spire region pointing to the bottom there? And you see activity coming out of it. Then coming out over here, long duration, kind of slow motion event, but you can see round spherical object right here coming out. You see the instrument reacting to it, and then we're back to our first frame. We had a little jump in data there from 2136 to 2336. You're missing 2 hours of data there. I was wondering what that happened there. All right, well, let me go ahead and put that back into motion. I'll let you look at that for a second. All right, so there's that. Very interesting activity going on around the sun today. Almost looked like a sunflower there for a second, and I was going to title this one Sunflower, but that stream got all destroyed. Yeah, but I want to capture that image one more time, right? Boom. Oops. Right there. Okay, so there's your cross type looking structure with a head right there. Almost kind of look like a sunflower a little bit too, with this little thing, the black center and the little thing go around it. But you can see it sitting in this plasma. There's plasma streaming past the top of it. It's sitting right in there. There's plasma reaching out and hitting it. And this is what's inducing the CME going, I don't know if this is going off the top of the sun or back away from it or what. If this is coming over the top of the sun at us, it's a little hard to tell. Well, we should go over to stereo A real quick here. See if we can get another angle on this. It only shows a frame per hour, but sometimes we get a couple of good frames in here. I pull this down just real quick. You can see that one little one go out. This is the event. Ooh. see it over on the red side here a little bit. You'd see it over here too. See the spread going out and the little satellite next to it there? So that went to the left of stereo A and over the top of Soho there. All right, let's move on. We can come back to that in a minute here because we might be going back to this instrument anyway. All right, now let's get back to this business over here. First of all, our solar flux indice is dropped 15 points. It's below 300 finally. Because above 300 was getting pretty scary there. And then we saw 336. I thought, uh-oh. Now, our sunspot number is 234. It was down some, but I guess it went a little bit back up. But meanwhile, that's a lot of sunspots. 234. It was at 270. I thought it was going to break 300 there for a minute. Okay, let's pop open this one real quick. Take a little peek around under the hood. I used to say under her dress, but I don't want to offend a bunch of people in here, so let's just take a look under the hood, why don't we? Okay, so this bad boy 3777 rotating out of the range here. Well, actually, this is where our IMF hookup line is. So hopefully our IMF line doesn't trigger something, and this thing doesn't, send something down it as well. Okay, because our planet is emitting energy now. We are overcharged and we're emitting gamma rays. Okay, so we're sending energy down the line back to the sun via the IMF line. Okay, so when this thing crosses that IMF hookup line, it could trigger a little CME or a spark something, or we'll see. Meanwhile, here's 3780, very, very intense pockets, but they're spread out. Okay, so we haven't seen too much out of that one. The next one is this one, 3784, coming over, really tight configuration here. So we'll have to watch the new one, 84 right there. Okay, now let's back on out, slide on over, and scroll on down to our GOES X-ray. For today, you can see here's our big event right there at the very beginning. Remember, it opened up with a big event, so there's that. And then we had that long duration little object coming out. That would be this little one right here. Okay. Wavy line. Thank you. That's better. Now, after this activity here, we've already gone way down. You notice our main flux is kind of right around here, and then all of a sudden it's starting to go down. And we had a little event right here. We could go take a peek at that, take a little peek into the future. You guys want to go see what happened there? You don't? You don't want to see what happened right here? A little peek into the future? Well, tough. We're going to do it anyway. I love you guys. You're a good sport. That's what's hard to find. Anybody that's a good sport anymore. Everybody's so. No, we don't need to look at that. It's hard to find anybody that's a good sport anymore. So where do we begin here? So off the top of the sun in this region again, where we just seen our other event is here we are, August 11. All right, we're going into the future here. Come along on a ride with me into the future. Let's try to pause it on the opening frame there. There's 024 of 811. Notice how these two field lines are crossing right here. These, boom, not field lines, but, well, there we go. These little streamers that are coming out here. Over on this side, you can almost see this little round object here. Let's try that real quick. And right there, it looks like an eye again. Darken that just a bit. There's the other eye. Remember we saw an eye out there the other day? your object, black objects surrounded by plasma, they don't reflect light, they absorb light. That's why they tear plasma off the sun. There's your round object surrounded by plasma. And when it does that, sometimes it takes the teardrop shape. It has a V-shaped bow shock on the front from coming out, but stuff is passing by it faster than it's moving out, and it gets a V-shaped bow shock on the back, giving it this eyeball type effect, or the eye. All right, so there's that frame. Opening frame. Let's scoot back over a little bit now. Okay, you guys are hanging in there. All right, good. So boom, boom, boom. Here we go off the top. Note our spire region already there. So the remnants of this thing moving out as well. See the wavy lines, or you get to see the top of this thing. All right, so when it comes by, all this plasma is reaching out to it. You can see the little moon right there. It attracts some plasma as well. It's trying to surround the whole structure right here. On the other side right there. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go like that. And you can see it back in there. Very dark back in there, but you can see plasma going over it, streaking past it. Little rim area. Very hard to detect. There's a little satellite on the side over here. The rest of it's probably going back around here, coming right up there. Nope, that's not working on this one, but ooh, right there. Capturing it a little bit. Right in this area, you can see where the plasma is kind of hitting the rim and then arcing over it a little bit. All right, and that was tomorrow. We're already having an event tomorrow, so hold on tight. Here we go. All right, so back to our Ghost X-ray flux here. So we had an event right here. Okay, so this isn't over. Now, as we pull back out, I want to touch base on this, the X-ray or the geomagnetic forecast, G2 for the next 2 days, and then nothing forecasted for the 13th. X flare potential went up 5 points. It's 30%. Okay, M flare is up to 80%. Even though lately this indices kind of dropped, we did see that big object, and usually it has trailing moons that cause little spits and sputters. Okay, so we'll have a little spitting and sputtering after this main one kind of moves on out. Now let's go forward here. Nothing too serious. An M5 and an M4. Overall, our geomagnetic field doing pretty good. Our KP index just above 2, so that's not too bad. Okay, only one beta gamma delta, that's the 3780, but it's declining. Okay, the one I'm concerned about is the 82. No, 84. It's this one right here, beta delta. All right, and growing. So we'll have to keep an eye on that bad boy. It's already got a delta configuration, beta delta, not beta gamma. 3784 is beta delta. Okay. You just need that one pole to strengthen a little bit, and it's on. Okay. Forgive me. I'm trying my best. Okay. After we did the fundraising report, Is there an event? Let's do some track lacking because we're lacking some tracking. Basically, the same tracker report as last night with impacts on 10, whoops, up here, 10, 11, and 12. Okay. And we didn't get very much of an impact today, so that's good. Where's the, okay, let's move on over here to space weather really quick, please. Lord, space weather. Thank you. All right. One CME has arrived and more to come. A CME struck Earth on August 10th, which was today, but the impact was weak and it did not cause a geomagnetic storm. Yay! I love that. I love when G2 comes out G0. All right, because we don't need to be taking on any more energy. But at least 2 more CMEs are still on the way. Their arrival on August 11th and 12th could cause G2 class geomagnetic storms, okay? One of those being the X1.3. One of those two, the last one. All right, so we still have the potential for 2 more days of G2. Let's pray it was like today and we got G0, okay? Perseid meteor showers happening. I got a good view of out here in the desert, except I got satellites and all kinds of airplanes and UFOs flying over my house. Can't tell the meteors from all the activity. Pretty crazy. But there you go. Cool little article. You can come over here and read it. I'm not going to read this about the Perseids, guys. All right, we got to get over to here. So, meanwhile, weak impact today, thankfully, but still potential for 2 more on the way. Coming back over here to our Schumann. Now, here was your day today. Bing, 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 bing. Big old spike right there. Again, this reading is just so sharp and abrupt. I'm going to have to do this. We're going to sacrifice focus for a minute just to get a close-up. I have to actually pull the camera and the computer together as one. About as close as I can get up in there. Because what I'm trying to point out here, get that box down. Right before the line, you see this dip right before it right there? That little dip, that's like almost like a dip in power when, your power's about to go out. It browns out first and then it goes out. There's that same little dip over here on this one right before it. Okay, that doesn't look like your normal pressure building up type activity right there. Neither does that right there. It did taper off. It did build some pressure and taper off. But that sudden, abrupt, really sharp thing of impact of activity right there is just not our typical readings, okay? So, again, I think maybe like one of the little satellites or one of the objects itself, its magnetic field interferes with ours and with our ionosphere. And this is sending echoes back down from the ionosphere, okay? So anything that charges or, electric jolt to the ionosphere would come out as a reading on this as well. Right after it, though, we did have some pressure. So whatever did this, if it is just a big blast of pressure, all of a sudden the pressure made it down to the core and the shell, and it just went, it could be either one, okay? And then we had a release of pressure, tapered off, and we're back to kind of normal activity, good continuity right there, thankfully. And I don't know, any of you experienced a heart attack today? Because I sure felt like I did. Anyways, there's your Schumann for today. And we did have kind of not a roller coaster ride, but it was the drop zone. You know what the drop zone at the carnival is? It's where it takes you all the way up, and then all of a sudden it just pew, and you drop back down. So that was, instead of roller coaster ride, that was kind of like the, I don't know, big drop zone type effect. And this affects you in the background when you're trying to do things during the course of your day and stuff like this happens. It affects your moods and stuff too. So important we do spiritual work and work on it, because here we are again, this lion smiling. Looks like he's actually blowing this time, blowing something out of his mouth. All right, let's get the air going. We're at 850. I just want to point out really quick, there's that same face even in the air patterns. Here's our storm over here, moving out, finally going across the Atlantic there a little bit. And we're starting to see this storm off of England and Ireland over here form. Right in this zone right here. Okay, so they're going to be in for a little round or some kind of crazy weather coming here soon. All right, and then as we kind of look around the world just really quickly. Oh, I wanted to point out, look at this mess down here off of South America. Look at that storm. I'll put the wind on that. So watch out, folks of South America along the coast of Chile here. This is a gnarly storm right there. Okay, but most of our activity up here in the north is just that. We also have this over here off of Japan. Okay, still winding up. It's actually starting to make landfall. The outer bands of it are starting to make landfall with northern Japan there. And it looks to be another little cyclonic effect going on out here too. Okay, so now we're going to come on over and put on our sandstorm. All right, so here we are, sandstorm, very intense plume right here, but we have rotation. There's this break in between the two plumes where we have, the storm starting to form in there. So we'll have to watch it carefully, because it will clear air out. The stronger the storm gets, it'll clear some of the sand out and gain in strength. Okay, so we've been lucky for a while that the sand has been diminishing any kind of hurricane productivity. Meanwhile, over here, Saudi Arabia, Oman, Yemen area, getting their sand handed to them. Then it's going out into the ocean there, getting swept up in these winds and getting thrown right at India too. Why am I just gonna be fighting this all night, huh? I shouldn't have taken it out of focus, but there we go. Spreading out all over here. This one over the Gobi Desert has calmed down for a minute there. So, but very, very widespread sand all over the world coming off of Africa and off of Saudi Arabia. Okay, thankfully, very intense plume. It's too bad there's this little break. We'll watch it closely. Okay, meanwhile, the other storm hooked up and went out of there. Now, what we got to do is keep moving here. Do SO2. Take off the wind for right now. Sorry, I'm just all over the place tonight. It's been hectic day for me. Just keep going here. All right, here we are. Country divided. You can see one side bleeding out, SO2 emissions all over the place. The other side here, this is all SO2 emissions out of like volcanic sites and stuff. Whoops, forgot the whoosh. There you go. Up here, you can see the darker plumes. The darker the purple, the more intense. And then what we're going to do is put on the fires and do a quick fire report here. Because, well, SO2 comes out of the ground very, very hot. It's surrounding the magma down below. And when it comes out of the ground, it's so hot that it sparks fires. It'll spontaneously combust any kind of dry foliage around the emission site, and fire starts. And bad case of fires way up here in Canada going on right now. This very intense plume. Okay, this activity started traveling south. Look how it's spreading. Whoops. Look how it's spreading across this way now, coming down this way. Also, it's creeping down through British Columbia into Washington, Oregon area, even down into California. This fire here in Northern California from the SO2 emissions. We got another one here on the coast that looks new. Okay, it was traveling south. We had a couple of fires down here because of SO2 emissions, but that's kind of stopped. We did have an easterly push where it started some fires in Colorado and actually crossed this line right here. Started sparking fires down in like Louisiana at this spot. But all that seems to have diminished a little bit. So mainly up here in Canada, that whole region right there is in big trouble. And then it's also creeping down, like I said, Oregon, Washington, California. Okay, we want to take the fires off now. Go around the world. Wait, before we leave this time zone, we'll go down Cuba through there. You see this side of South America. We go into our fulcrum point where we have our quake activity. This is where we see, intense emissions because of a weak spot right there in the crust. So right there's a good little plume, pretty solid. The other ones look not so intense today, so a little relief of pressure. But down here, still going strong, pumping up this huge plume of SO2 out into the ocean there. Okay, let's go this way. Make a stop over here. Oh, look, the lion has like a little mole, like a little whisker right here. Is the wahoo. Oh, there we go. That's a lot better. And their emissions still pretty strong. That's good. As long as they're not having volcano activity there, I'll take SO2 emissions instead. The other islands doing as well. Okay. Is he, I don't know, smoking a cigarette or blowing something out? I don't know. Anyways, let's get over here and start doing this side. Back up to their daytime. Okay, so you can see pretty good pressure still around that region. Let's go in and look at Taiwan, still decent emissions. Up here, this is where we have the earthquake because they don't have the SO2 emissions right there, but along these islands or along this side right here, they do. A lot of this intensity from China has drifted north and, really kind of filled in this area with, SO2 plumes now, and it's drifted down into the Korean Peninsula as well. Here we have some intense spots. This is actually kind of less than the other day here at the North Philippines. We come down here to Java to check it out. It's another relief valve. It's a good indicator. Our two purple spots. The rest of the island kind of looking kind of light today, so that's good. Maybe we had a little relief of pressure there and not so intense. But Australia has their little sites, even Tasmania, and well, geez, look at all the flights going into New Zealand, huh? But they're not free of this either. They got their SO2 emission sites. That's all volcanic island right there, so couldn't have picked a elite spot. All right, here we go. Here's your India activity. It's intensifying now. It's growing in color. This is darkening up in India here. Okay, it hasn't crossed the Himalayas and gotten into the Gobi Desert out here. This was all a sea at one time, and the water compacted the ground. The pressure of the water sitting on top of it compacted the seabed so tightly that when the water evaporated, it left this dry seabed just super compact. And there's no SO2 emissions out of it because it's almost like cement. But around the edges of it, you can see it. Meanwhile, over here, Iran, Saudi Arabia, they're all having their issues. Okay, go a little spot here at the Red Sea. Remember, we saw a quake on the plate boundary in there. They're having SO2 emissions there as well, down in South Africa. And one last thing I want to point out was our little island here. Here's Fiji, where we have our deep quakes. Okay, the energy enters the plate boundary system up through here, and this first little island on the plate boundary system has two SO2 emission sites. They're not going too strong today, but there's two little sites right there that relieve pressure as it starts to enter the that system. Okay, and well, it just it reduces magnitudes, kind of helps keep down. We get a good deep quake. Well, it kind of helps relieve the pressure when it enters that system. Seems to be doing that lately. So, okay. Meanwhile, up here at the top of the world, this is all ocean out here. So this is right up in Siberia, the very northern part of the planet. Remember, we saw the temperature changes up here in this region. Well, SO2 emissions. Okay, here we go. We're going to back out now, and we're going to go do our water temperature report. So everybody take a nice deep breath. One more. Okay, here are your water temperature anomalies. Okay, most people are used to looking at this map. Still this comma shape, but the tail is growing. It's reaching down towards Hawaii here. Remember, it was just kind of a comma to right here. Well, this little bulge in a separation, not separation, but a little lightening in this area and this tail streaking out. We have a new little wave of little openings probably in this region right here. Meanwhile, Tamumasi is just going full bore. It's pumping out a lot of hot water in that region right there, okay? And this is volcanic activity on the ocean floor causing hot water plumes, okay? The hot water gets hot air over it, cold water gets cold air over it. Well, hot air rises, cold air rushes in to replace it. We get vorticity because of the temperature changes, right? So these heat signatures are actually controlling the world's weather now. And you can see this whole region has an issue. The yellow indicates your hotter temperatures, more emissions. Doesn't necessarily have to be magma coming out of the ocean floor. There are different strata in the crusts. So we could be pumping out, super hot water too. There could be one site that has a little trickle of magma coming out that solidifies and then boils more right next to it and solidifies, but it heats the water in the area. And then you could also have like hot water jets or emission sites where hot water or even steam boiling up out of the ocean floor. Okay, there's that. Here's the top of the world getting crazy. Look how these hot temperatures are reaching closer and closer to the North Pole. We already have heat signature under the ice in the North Pole there. Okay, that is off the hook. We're clear up here. This is way above the Arctic Circle. Okay, and hot water all along the side of Greenland there. I just let the thing do talking. Hudson Bay. Look at this up here, the northern coast of Alaska, you guys. Hot waters on the northern coast of Alaska. We do have a new cold water inundation jet coming out of here. Put like all the cold water on the top of the world and right there. All right, so coming over here, there's still this same character, like blowing a trumpet or something at this area. Not much has really changed here. It's just kind of filling in this area. It used to be like an arm right here that was different, or separate. So this area right in there is kind of filling in. Little hot patches starting to form out here. Not good. Cool water right there too. So, all right, let's go ahead and put the winds on. That's not wind. That is. All right, I want you to take a nice deep breath and look at your correlations with your heat signatures and your airflow patterns. The heat signatures are controlling the airflow patterns at this lower level where our storm's right at. Our jet stream is not really in control anymore. And the atmospheric compression coming from, well, the sun pushing on the outside of the earth, compressing the upper bands downward onto the earth. And this is reaching upwards. It's kind of taking control of our jet streams now too. So there's your heat signature, wind pattern correlation, your conveyor belt type structure. We have two little separate oscillation or vortexes right here because of the two independent heat signatures. A while back, it was one solid yellow bar and it had this more conveyor belt type structure. Now we have two little independent loops, but we still have one big outside conveyor belt. It just has a shortcut through the middle. All right. Meanwhile, this heat signature is taking weather and wind and taking it right along the coastline, driving it south down the coastline, and then back out to sea. So a lot of weather is not going into the country on the west coast. And if you look at our air patterns, really gnarly air patterns here, gnarly air patterns here, but this region right there is got a little hedge of protection over it for a reason. And you can see this flow coming off of here is starting to, it finally broke through here. The other hurricane or the hurricane moved out. And kind of like I thought, it was pushing down on this and keeping this flow going into the Pacific. Now it's starting to creep up and go up through the country again. All right, so I'll leave that sit there for a second. Our outside loop is going up into Canada now. Instead of coming up and going out this way, it's taking another hook going way up there and out. So now, watch out, Canada. They're already getting flooding and it's getting chaotic for everybody. All right, there's your new flow pattern. Let's kind of adjust for the Atlantic here so you can see its conveyor belt type structure. I'll let that sit there for a second. Good. Everybody doing good. God bless. Signs and wonders. Thank you for being here. Everybody, thank you for being here. You see this flow pattern. You see this vortex starting to grow here because we got cold and hot next to each other. This is still pulling sand off, but it can pull it down and away and create a gap here, like it's kind of doing. So we got to watch new little vent sites like this change up flow patterns. Okay, we still have the southern fetch coming off of the south, from south of the equator, going up into the northern hemisphere. Crazy activity. All right, I just saw something, and I'm gonna leave it. Where's a good spot? Like right there. That's too far out. I'm going to be able to leave it for the spot for a second there and let you guys look at that. I got to say a prayer here. I will be 10-15 seconds. I will be right back. Now's a good time to grab a snack, go to the bathroom, do something. I'll be right back in a minute. Lord, why are you showing me this stuff, dude? Not live stream. bear with me for just 1 second here. And you see how this little hot cold area is causing vorticity out here? Yeah. Here, let me put it over on this side too. Whoops. And we'll let that one sit there for a second and rotate. I gotta. All right, here we go. So there's your temperature anomaly map. Let's move on over to. I want to do another one really quick here. Particulates. We're going back to particulates. All right. SO4 is another sulfide. It's another compound. Comes up out of the ground as well. And it's also produced by man. Let me take the wind off. You can see the intensity of it. White denotes the intensity here. Let's pull up the little chart. See white out here is the more intense. Green and blue is hardly any, right? So as we look around, lots of this gas out there. Okay. Now SO4, this particulate, when water adheres to SO4, it doesn't just adhere to it, it actually chemically bonds with this compound, okay? And there's water vapor in our air. Lots of water vapor because of all the heat convection going on, right? This compound, SO4, likes to well, it fuses with the H2O, creating a new compound. H2O and SO4, those two mixed together, creates a new compound called H2SO4, which is better known as sulfuric acid. Okay? And it gets caught up in your storms. You can see the swirling patterns in the storms and everything here. Gets caught up in your storms, and your storms are raining a sulfuric acid. Okay, and it's made its way all around the world. Antarctica was the one place that was exempt, but it's crept down there now too. Okay, and this is a particulate, and it just adheres to water, bonds with it, and creates a compound H2SO4. H2SO4. I think I said H2OSO4. It's H2SO4, which is sulfuric acid. Okay, and it's all over the place. So if you're going to be collecting rainwater, make sure you purify it. Test the pH of it. Okay. Leave it on the ocean thing. Okay, now let's go over to earthquake report. So we had a bunch of deep quakes yesterday that put 5 energy at the surface, a little 5 plus, we'll say, and no deep quake for today. But right here we have a 4.2 down at 421, so it's semi-deep right there. So a little activity making its way closer to the surface. 4.2 is a little shy of our regular activity. Okay, so as we go into our system right here, remember we have our little island right here that diminishes pressure. So we haven't had a quake here at the entrance of this system in a long time. And we have 5 energy at the surface and a 5.2. Just a tad bit higher because of our deeper quakes that were a tad higher yesterday. 5.2 at the surface right there going on into your system. Very quiet through there. We had this one right here, a 4.7. That's down at 132. So that's probably on the flank of some volcanic island or something here. And you can see volcanic islands all around this area. Everything is here. Almost a fulcrum point right here in your plate boundary. And over here, little seamount way down under here. Something rumbling around down in there. And pressure coming up through the layers. And then very quiet through there. Nothing at Java, but look over here at Sumatra now. We finally had a couple of quakes here at Sumatra. A 4.5 down at 71. And a 4.4 at 27. These are volcanic island right on the flank of it right there. And that is more out in that weak zone. Super saturated. The land right here is saturated with water. Whoops. Take this off. Lord, please. It's like a plateau out here, almost like a tabletop type structure. You see what I'm saying? So weak zone right along in here where the land and the water meet, and just offshore a little bit right there. 4.5. Something going on down under here. Relieving pressure in that region because volcanic activity isn't doing enough. Now, nothing around the fulcrum point here, but Gobi Desert, 4.1 at 16. Afghanistan, 4.1, down at 90. Fulcrum point quake here, too. You see this fulcrum coming up here? It's pushing pressure right at that thing. 4.4 at the surface, relieving energy, scrubbing energy. We'll get into Japan in a sec. I want to touch base with this over in Bata, Romania, a 4.4 at the surface there. More energy being scrubbed at a new site here, whatever weak spot this is now. Let's see, we got a nice little mountain ridge right here. Fracture, not a fracture, but a good. I'll have to watch that area for any other activity. Okay, let's come on over to Japan now. Again, on now on this plate right here, where we had our big quake the other day, and we only had a couple of aftershocks. Well, today here's a 4.8 down at 46. Okay, so that area is still rumbling. 4.8 is perfect. We don't want anything too much big, too big. I already got stuff that's leaning and ready to crumble there, so we don't want to shake it too much. But it's relieving energy, relieving pressure. There's 4.4 relieving pressure on this finger-shaped peninsula plate right there. Okay, we had our deep quake here. No residual quakes. Now let's come on over to America, do all magnitudes. And look how quiet it is along our volcanic islands here. Just this one little microquake right there. So we're in between waves of pressure right now. We had a little release and then those bigger magnitude quakes, and then everything's kind of quieted down. There's nothing right here to check. Very quiet in there. There's semifulcrum 3.2 magnitude. Want that one? 2.4. So our biggest magnitude quake up here in Alaska was 3.2. You can see that fulcrum point quake, can't you? And let me just kind of go right. Remember I was describing there's other fulcrums? Right at the point right there. Bingo, 1.8. Not much, but on the flank of Mount Rainier here. 1.5. Not nothing to get all scared about. It's just a little indication pressure still in that area, relieving it at a volcanic site. Nothing pushing in from the Juan de Fuca. No inland quakes. Just the geysers doing their job here. Microquaking out here. Okay, doing a good job. Recent magnitude 1.9. Here we are, this little area. I want you guys to just really quick topographically look at this structure right here. There's all these little mountains, very like fault ridden. Multiple faults running side by side by side right there, kind of converging, getting pinched off around this lake right here. As I come to the South Bay, the very tip of the Hayward Fault down here, 2.2 at Morgan Hill. Okay. Finally, some activity on the San Andreas. Scrubbing energy here, scrubbing energy there, and there too. Okay, good. I'm kind of observing this as we go through it myself too, because I haven't even really got a chance to look at this. I would try to set up a show and then deal with a bunch of 3.2. So magnitude 3 still going off in this region, the maximum right there, but a bunch of little quakes still going on here. Now, we had a 7 point something that caused, 4 aftershocks, and this 5 has thousands of quakes after it. This is a quake swarm. Okay, this is different than a bunch of aftershocks. It's usually your bigger magnitude quake, 6, 7, getting into 8 and stuff like that create a bunch of aftershocks like this. This is more of a new weak spot, a quake swarm, and it's a good spot. It's relieving energy there before it comes down and hits the LA region and stuff. Okay, I want to check this one really quick here in the Pleasant Valley. Okay. Stuff starting to spread out down through Nevada and over here toward that. No way. You gotta be kidding me. This is where I did some time out here in Caliente. The place I was at is getting rocked. That is so ironic. All right. As we continue on here, let's check some of these magnitudes here in Texas. This big one, 3.5 in Texas today. And another 3.1 up here. So a little bit of energy coming out of our perforations in the crust there. Okay, up here in Oklahoma, 2.3. But all in all, nothing around the craton. Okay, so that's good. Just real quick down here, 4.3 magnitude check out here, 3.3. What's this one? Okay, so a little higher magnitude out there. But that's good. It's relieving pressure in this area. Remember, we have this big heat plume out there. Don't be surprised if we start seeing activity out of this. Okay. Very quiet down through South America. 4.2 164. Very thick crust right in there. So 4.2 at 77. And notice we haven't had, big magnitude quakes along this thing because this is known for the big ones through here, right? But we have all that SO4 relieving pressure, keeping our magnitudes down to 4.2 in that region. I did see another quake down here somewhere, but I guess it's off the map already. I think we covered everybody. Yep, good enough. Let's move on. Yay. Getting closer to the spiritual report. Before you do that, let's get rid of that. Get rid of that. And that. Okay, volcano report incoming. All right, here we are, 34 erupting and 30 in warning, 26 in unrest. You guys been in unrest for a little while? I could understand why. All right, let me get into this. August 11th, Ibu, IBU, right there. Okay, Suwanosejima exploded at 24 and 3,000 feet. Ibu, IBU at 8,000 feet. Luatobi, 11,000. Semaru, 15, of course. Dukono, 8. White Island in New Zealand, eruption continued, low-level eruption with a thin VA cloud at 6,000 feet. So as the elite are going into their bunkers, as they descend through the cloud of eruptive, continuous low-level eruption at a thin cloud at 6,000 feet, then they can see their island. 19,000 at Popocatépetl, 15,000 at Fuego, Sangay, 23,000. That's a good blast. 23,000, that's way up there. Reventador, 15. Sabancaya, 23 again. 23? 23. Now let's get into today, which is now yesterday, because, well, time flies at this channel. Svrarensky, okay? 300 quakes have been recorded in the area. It's about to go. The next wave of pressure, when we get a solar flare, or when we get these geomagnetic storm enhancements, right? This X flare, when it hits us, it'll get absorbed down to the core, and we'll probably see something like this go off, okay? Suwanosejima, 4,000. IBU at 8,000. Luatobi, 11. Semaru, 15, Dukono, 8, White Island. White Island, New Zealand. Explosive activity continues. Volcanic ash advisories warned about a volcanic ash plume that rose up to an estimated 5,000 feet altitude or flight level 050 and is moving at 10 knots in a west direction. Pray for the people of New Zealand, too. I love the people of New Zealand, don't get me wrong. That's where the elite are trying to escape from, or to, and little do they know they didn't pick a very good spot. But pray for the people of New Zealand. The Kiwis are good people. Fuego, are you 14,900? That's a big blast out of Fuego. Sabancaya, 22,000. Is that how you feel? Yeah, I know. I wake up at my desk every once in a while. Oh, yeah, that's right. I still got a show to do. Signs of narcolepsy, huh? Well, if I could ever get more than 3 hours of sleep in a row, wouldn't have that problem. Volcanic. Oh, well, that's in the 9th. We're done, son. Let's get into the weather. Okay, weather is crazy because of all of our factors, including our spheroid activity, our spiritual activity, our added particulates, our added moisture. If you had a bucket, a small little bucket, and an accompanying sponge that held, appropriate water for the bucket, right? So now we got a bucket that holds more water, a bigger sponge and a bigger bucket. The bucket being the atmosphere holding more water, the sponge being the particulate count. Okay, so the air is absorbing more water. There's a higher water content in your air now, and your higher precipitation count, bigger hail, more violent storms, stronger convectivity, all that stuff comes with it. Derechos, all that, tornadoes. Okay, here we are. Let me just slide a little better. Okay, so currently the nighttime of the 10th, We're going into the morning of the 11th. Now, we do have geomagnetic enhancement possibly on the 11th, G2. Okay, today we didn't have any, thankfully. Hopefully, tomorrow we don't either because I don't want to see enhancement, but the possibility is there. G2 possibility enhancement in the morning of the 11th. Enhancement possible there at noon. There's convection and nighttime. Okay, so little bit of pop-ups here, just these thunderheads that grow in the mountains and then out in this region could possibly be a little more intense. This storm up here and weather around the world, anywhere else around the world. Okay. At nighttime, these little pockets, you see them flaring up right here. So we could possibly see a little intensification of that. Now, as we go into the morning of the 12th, still G2. Okay. Still G2 possible enhancement in the morning of the 12th. There's noon. Right here, severe weather with possible enhancement on the 12th by the noontime. There's convection. If it does this by noon and has severe weather here at Illinois, right there at Illinois, this next frame where we go into convection, that whole area could be yellow, all right? So don't let this deceive you. Let's pray it stays that way because that's convection with enhancement, nighttime with enhancement, okay? This area back here, you see these little red splotches, is a hatch risk right in there. Colorado, Kansas, the one in each state. Look at that. All right, so with possible enhancement from a G2, that second one, this one on the 12th would be the X flare. So the X flare enhancement possibly to that. Okay, do you understand what I'm saying? I'm not trying to scare you guys. I'm just trying to get you guys warned ahead of time. So I warned you about what was going to happen in New York. I told you to evacuate. I told my viewers evacuate that area. I just showed you the devastation from that area. It's not too hard to figure out. So sorry. Meanwhile, back here, nighttime of the 12th with our X flare enhancement, I'd watch that. I'd watch out for that right there. I'd also watch out for this right here during the noon time. All right, see, this is 11 Pacific. That'd be 12:01. So 1 in the afternoon right here, okay? I say noontime because it's 11:12. Well, 1:02, that's still roughly the middle of the day, okay? And then when we get to 5 p.m., that's Pacific, 6, 7, 8. That's when the sun's going down. That's when your cloud tops are at their highest. I call 5 o'clock zone convection or the end of convection. Lately, our temperatures have been so high that we have nighttime convection because the cool air. So, back again, convection of the 12th, nighttime of the 12th. Right there, I'd watch that. There still is possibility of enhancement on the 13th morning, okay? If that X flare is slow, if it hits late or whatever. So morning enhancement possibility there in Kansas. Now, anything after this, I would say no more enhancement. There's noon, convection the 13th. This, the nighttime event of the 14th, look out up here in Canada. Look right out here in the same spot that just got hit. Move this little arrow. Same spot that just got hit. Got the same little bullseye on it, okay? And then this region down in Mexico again, too. They're getting hammered down there, too. That'll be the morning of the 14th, noon, convection, nighttime. 15. Anything after this is getting way past predictable. So that would be the morning time. I doubt if that'll probably change, but here we go. Morning of the 15th, noon, convection, nighttime. 16, noon, convection, nighttime. 17, noon, convection, nighttime. 18, noon, convection, nighttime. 20. No, that's 19. Sorry. Morning of the 19th. You can see it up here. If I make a mistake, you can always see them up there. deprivation. Noon of the 19th, convection in Alabama. Nighttime of the 19th. Morning of the 20th, noon, convection. Nighttime 21, noon, convection. Nighttime 22, noon, convection. Nighttime 23, noon, convection. Nighttime. If we could see the top of the map up there in Canada, oh boy. But look how this thing is strung moisture all the way down like that. We could possibly see stuff, activity similar to that. Okay. That's nighttime. So 24, noon, convection, nighttime. 25, noon, convection, nighttime. See how we get stuff up there in the nighttime? Morning of the 26th, noon, convection, night. Oh, and that was it. Okay, so my main concerns are the next 48 to out to 72 hours, okay? So here we go. One more time. We have enhancement, okay, possible here. Now, hopefully we don't get any G2 enhancement on the 11th here. That'll be noontime, possible enhancement on that thing. Convection, all right. Then as we get into the nighttime of August 11th, there's your possibility right in there. Also here in Utah, whoa, little speckles all across Utah. That's flat desert and stuff out in there, so watch out for flash flooding in Utah. Okay, on the night of the 11th. Let's go back a sec. Yeah, they got it there on convection too. So this region right here under the bullseye on the 11th. That's starting tomorrow when the sun comes up. That'll be sundown right there, and then nighttime with enhancement possibilities. Look out in Utah. Morning of the 12th with enhancement right there. The noon time, 2 o'clock time, right around there in Illinois on the 12th. And then this nighttime 12th. Let me back up. There we go. This event right here on the nighttime of the 12th is our other event to watch out for. Okay, so on the 11th and then this on the 12th. Okay, both of those have the possibility of having some kind of enhancement to them because of geomagnetic activity striking the Earth at the same time. Same with the weather around the planet. Okay, we get it. We did it. We're done. Everybody take a deep breath. Yes. Now, all of that is very, very disturbing news. It could be very upsetting. And after enduring all that and what you guys see on the mainstream media, I don't know why you watch them anymore. We have very disturbing events, right? But it's all for a reason. It's all because what's going on. All right. What is popped up here? Oh, there we go. Hang on just real quick. My chat locked up. I want to kind of look through it. Oh, I missed a bunch. Dang it, I hate it when that happens. All right, well, back to spiritual report. So here you are. My face showing up in the sky, in the clouds on Easter 2020, all because of what happened to me and what I've been through. You guys want to hear a little bit of my testimony here a little bit while we go through this? Because we got that and we got all kinds of stuff. First off, we're going to come over to my channel, and I just want you guys to get a little handle on what's going on. Oh, wait, got to type that one in. You know, you can go over to this little search bar and type in almost anything and hit enter, and it will take you to something on my channel that relates to it. That's the one I want right there. Okay, real quick, we'll go over this. This is Stereo Way back on September 9th. Well, let's get here to the event. Okay, so, yeah, there we go. So here we are, September 10th, 2017. All right, this event right here, I was following the solar flares that were coming off the sun at the time. Okay, and there were three X flares back at this period. The first two were really big, and the third one was an X flare, but it wasn't like the big X10. It was like a 7.8 or something like that. I forget what the number was, but everybody kind of poo pooed it, and I poo pooed it too. But I came home one day and my computer was already on with this image already up on the screen. And I'm like, what? I did not click on this, pull it up, nothing. What's going on? And then I looked at it. I'm like, oh, this is that third CME. Right about then, I went to poo poo it and click away from it. And I heard God say, Brian, there's something wrong with that image. And I'm like, yeah, there is. Something is wrong with that image. So I sit down, I'm looking, and I'm trying to see what's going on here, but it's hard to see. Well, finally, our black round object surrounded by plasma, okay, it has little wings pointing back. We can get this one on the other side. It's actually there, just kind of blending in with this bright spot, but there is this little hook in this little wing coming back here off of this side. Maybe you can see it there a little brighter, maybe. Okay, but it's there. Now, I'm not a big Nibiru guy, all right? I told you I was a ufologist. I've been plagued with UFO activity since I was a little kid. So I always knew that they were real, but I've seen people taking lens flare pictures going, hey, I got Nibiru. Well, this was right around the timing of it, okay? Now, this is 13 days before the Revelation 12 star alignment, okay? In Revelation 12, it says there were two signs. The first one was the woman, and then a dragon stood in front of the woman ready to devour the child. Well, if you read it correctly, it says the dragon stood in front of or stood before the woman. Well, this is the dragon, standing in this image before the woman, 13 days before. Everybody was looking for this after the star alignment, and that's why they missed it. So everybody saw the woman, but they missed the dragon. And God's like, everyone saw the woman, they missed the dragon. Here it is. You got to tell them. This day, my life turned upside down, backward, forward, and most of all, inside out. I don't know how to describe that to you. It's like having every single nerve ending on the insides of you on the outside of your skin now. And you can feel every raw nerve is exposed. Okay. It's very intense. It's very, let's just leave it at that. This is when it started. Okay. Here's your dragon, Revelation 12. I'm going to go ahead and play this quick little video real quick here. You guys okay?
Looks like Nibiru. It's got a wing coming off on this side and a wing coming off on that side.
See this little black one down in here too, right?
Because behind that is this big object right here. This is what's causing our flares. Here's a conduit of plasma that is sucking off of our sun, going into this planet. Here's a damage ring or an impact zone on this planet right here. You can see Nibiru sticking out in front of it here.
Okay, Nibiru and Nemesis, okay? Now, everybody back in these days was just looking at the light. They're just looking at the CME. Oh, this was a CME right here. Yeah, but why is it bending? Why does it have this weird arc shape to it? This image, I struggled for hours with God. He was like, keep looking, keep trying, think the big picture. And I thought, oh, zoom in. So I tried zooming in. Well, the image I had was so zoomed in you couldn't see it. It wasn't until I gave up and walked away to take a break and I left the arrows sitting on this red line and we had a compressed pop-up of a much larger picture. It wasn't until I saw the image compressed from a different dimension that I realized what God was trying to show me. Okay, and this is the real deal, you guys. This not a joke. This is stereo A. Okay, I didn't make up these images or the dates. This really happened. This really happened. And everyone missed the dragon. They all saw the woman, but if you read the Revelation, it says, then a second sign appeared, a great dragon with, great red dragon. It stood before the woman. Well, when it says another sign appeared, it makes it sound afterwards. But then it turns around and says the dragon stood before the woman. And there it is. Okay. Now, when this happened,
That's not all, because behind that,
okay, I made this video. All right, I struggled in making this video. It was very hard for me. Probably for you these days, you go, oh, how could that be so hard? Well, what you're looking at is your death. Okay, this is what's going to kill us all right here. Nemesis is going to destroy the sun, going to destroy the earth. This thing is a black hole, neutron star, our binary twin that's burned out. It's bigger than the sun. It's bigger than the sun, okay? And it's absorbing energy because it's super depleted of energy and it doesn't reflect light. It's super depleted. It absorbs light, so you can't see it. It doesn't reflect light. You can only see it when light drapes over it and silhouettes it like like a tablecloth does on an invisible table. Now, for those of you, I know you guys can see it, but I gotta show you this anyway. Easy, guys. Easy. Alright. So while I was in Caliente, Nevada, talking with some doctors, tried to draw a representation of what I saw. Okay, and while in custody, I kind of drew this little picture right here. Okay, and that's a little three-dimensional representation of what you're looking at. The much bigger nemesis, the sun right here, plasma being pulled off. It hits it and spreads out in a circular fashion and goes pooah over it, right? Well, at this point, here's the damage ring is just at that size, just starting to expand and go around it. Okay. That's an impact zone or a damage ring. Okay. So there's a little 3D drawing representation. I'm not a very good artist, but of that. Now, do you see it for those who are having trouble? Now, it all started with this. Okay. And then right after this happened, all right, I made this video. It took a few days. Okay. I struggled with it. It was not easy. Then we got, right after I did this video, something happened. And, this. I think you guys have all seen this too.
standing in a shaft of light. Here's his head. There's a glow over the head. The wings are extended and right here. And this was actually captured the day before the other picture, but I hadn't found it for years later until I was digging around through my, my old pictures and stuff and went even further back to see if I'd missed anything. And I captured this one. And we're going to zoom into this streak right up here. This one.
Really quick. See the date up there at the top, October 4th, 2017. Okay, this is 11 days after the star alignment. All right. 11 days after the Revelation 12 star alignment. This was captured on my security camera. And I didn't know about this. Okay. This happened. And then it wasn't until a couple years later that I was well into this process that someone said, hey, you need to go back. You missed something. So I went back and looked, and when I saw this, it explained everything, why I was feeling the way I was and what happened. So here we go. Just bear with me for a second here.
Now, hopefully, you can see that we have a lady's profile here. Here's her eye, here's her forehead, her snub little nose, here's the bottom jaw. She's smiling, she's looking down, and she's holding a baby. And here's the baby's head right here. Here's the face, the back of the head. Here's her arm cupped around like this, and she's holding the baby. Now I'm going to run this through the filter real quick, and it's going to enhance it, but a little bit too much. But see, now you can really make out her profile a lot better and see her face, and her headdress is coming over and going down back behind her. And you can still make out the baby's head right here. And maybe if I pull back a little bit, there we go. And this was captured on October 4th. So this was about 11 days after the Revelation 12 sign. All this stuff started happening to me just prior to the Revelation 12 sign and then right after it. So it said the woman was about to give birth. Well, it looks like maybe she gave birth, and here's the little baby being caught up to God.
Okay? This spiritual entity was born in my garage where all my spiritual photos and stuff are taking place. This actually was the first one captured. I didn't know until a couple of years later, and I went through some of the old video and frame by frame, and I found this frame, and I'm like, oh my gosh, what's this? And then when I see it's the Revelation 12 baby being born, now I know why what happened to me happened to me. This entered me. Okay? That's my birth, my second birth or whatever right here. And after this moment right here, everything changed. All right. And I didn't know what was going on until 2 years. Well, I knew what was going on, but I didn't see this image until about 2 years later into it. So let's back up to what really happened the very next day after posting that wake up call video. Okay. Not the next day, right after posting it. Okay. I struggled with what I was going to say, how I was going to show it, what I was going to do. It was very hard to do that. Okay. I sacrificed my reputation, lost my job, lost my family, everything because of that. So it was very, very hard to do. And after doing it, I'm out here in anguish, crying, screaming, and praying. And my security camera captures this.
Howdy, folks. Welcome back.
So this is the next day. The baby was born October 4th, the night I did the video. The next, technically it turned midnight or whatever, so the next day at midnight or whatever, I'm out here after posting the video, a wreck, and this is what the security camera captured right after the baby, the very next day the baby was born. Post the video, and then this happens.
Through some of the old photos and running them through the filter, and this was one of the first ones that I had ever captured. And what's going on here is I'm here on my knees. I'm crying and screaming and praying, all three at once. I was in some extreme anguish. A paranormal traumatic event happened to me, something so unbelievable you guys wouldn't believe it. So if I told you, so I'm going to show you instead. So in this image here, I'm sitting here praying, and Mary's head appears right next to my head, and we're going to zoom in on this. You can't go in too tight on it, but she's looking down at my head this way. Let's see, there's pretty good. And you can make out her eye and her nose coming down, her shawl coming over, and it's in shadow right here. This is a shadow of the inside of her shawl going over her head like this. Here's her eye, her nose, her other eye would be on the other side there. Okay. You can't go in too tight on it. And then also is this white ball with an eye in it, this white orb with an eye in it. Okay, and that's not all, because over here in this corner up here is an angel. The silhouette of an angel with his wings spread, with his back to us, standing in a shaft of light. Here's his head. There's a glow over the head. The wings are extended, and there's a feather coming off. The last feather coming off is crossing over these brown roof tiles in the background here. And you can make out there's an angel right here. And you can even see his head right here. We'll go in a little bit tighter. So there's the angel with his back to us and his wings spread.
Cool.
Yeah, you can see a lot better with the filter. Before it was really faint and it was hard to see. Same with this. This came out a little bit better here. Yeah, there's Mary looking down at my head because I was in anguish. I mean, what happened to me was just...
All right, so enough of that. So, when we're doing the readings, I want you to think of this image right here. This is an anointing ceremony, okay? You got an angel, the God Eye, Mary, and when you look at paintings, ancient paintings, and old references and stuff, wherever there's an angel, God, and Mary, Jesus is there too. Well, Jesus is in this image if you know what to look for. Then we got all kinds of faces in the clouds that start following me, UFOs, races from the past start following, watching, studying everything I do. And then all of a sudden my face appears in the clouds. And pull up that image and then start reading, okay? Sorry it took so long, but some of these
profile a lot better and see her face. And
some of these images are important. This is important that you understand this. This is your foundation, okay? Here, let's real quick, this angel.
Boolean's Monster Box Sweepstakes is back, featuring 500 of SD.
There we go. That little angel right there.
Howdy folks, welcome back. So I'm real excited to show you this one. This is an angel that was captured on my security cameras, and now I've run it through the filter here. So if you turn your head to the right.
Now tilt your head to the right, because most people tilt their head to the left and can't see it. Because the angel is laying at a 45-degree angle in the air like this. So if you tilt your head to your right-hand shoulder, you can see it a little better.
Degrees, you can make out the head, the hair, the breasts, it's a female, the torso, the waist, the legs coming down here, a wing coming off here, a wing coming off over here. And we'll zoom in on this real quick because this one's nice and clear that you can.
It's got a face on it.
This is an angel that was caught hovering in a shaft of light over this sleeping child down below here. So zoom in on it again. Just excited.
Okay, real angel. That's your spiritual realm being captured on a digital security camera. That's admissible as evidence in a court of law. Do you understand that? And then when I went through this process, I told them I captured angels and that you could see them. And then they're like, oh, you're seeing angels. Well, you're insane. You need to be locked up. And I'm like, no, you didn't listen closely. I captured angels and you can see them. Well, couldn't get 5 minutes of their time to come over and look at this beautiful image, a real image of a real angel sleeping over or hovering over a real child sleeping below. Okay, you can even see this little demon face up here in the background trying to give him nightmares or whatever, and this little angel's coming in and protecting him. Okay, it's a beautiful image, but I spent years and years in sanitariums because I couldn't get a doctor or anybody to look at this. We can't entertain your delusions. It's not a fucking delusion, doc. It's a real thing. And if you could just listen for 5 minutes and go look, you would see. I finally get this doctor to go, okay, I'll entertain it for 5 minutes at the end of your session. The session's all about the doctor and his credits and credentials, not about me. So the last 5 minutes of my session, I go, okay, good. I want to pop this open. And I pop this open and I get him to tilt his head. I go, tilt your head to the right. Well, This doctor's so smart he tilts his head to the left. I don't see it. I go, you don't even know your right from your left, do you? Huh? I said, tilt your head to the right. Oh, that way? Yeah, that. Oh, now, do you see the head? Do you see the hair? You see the breast? You see the wings coming off? You see the torso, the waist, and the legs? Oh, yeah. Wow. Well, guess what, Doc? You're seeing angels now, too. We better lock you up. So I went through all kinds of just insanity because people would not give 5 minutes to look, and you guys do. And it pays off, doesn't it? Because it goes into this. And here we have my face showing up in the clouds on Easter because of what I've been through. Okay? I have experience at not being believed. Well versed at it. But for those who do, something magical happens. Something miraculous happens. You understand how precious this family is, how precious you are. You understand your identity. Now, sorry, but he's on fire tonight. Everybody take a deep breath, especially me. Okay. All right, here we go. So, I like to meet with my family, but I'm stuck in a meat suit right now and in kind of protective custody. So I can't just come stroll over to your house and knock on your door. But we can meet in the air. We can come over here to my live stream, which is live on YouTube over the internet, the cyberspace, the air of cyberspace. That's where we meet, isn't it? This is my face in the clouds with power and great glory on Easter. It's intriguing. It's fascinating. You get caught up in it like a good book or a good movie or, a good YouTube live stream. And if you're caught up, fascinated with me in the clouds, and we're meeting in the air, well, you're raptured, even though that word is not in the book. So tired of hearing that word. And all this discussion, rapture. Dude, the rapture's happening right now. It's happening right now. If you look up and you get caught up in it, otherwise you're waiting for Hollywood to turn you into a little white dot and then ascend up into the sky. No. Okay. You guys understand who I am. You are in my presence right now. Here. Hi. You know that face by the moon? Same nose, same hairline? It's me. I'm here with you right now. Okay? You are in my presence, and there is peace and fullness of joy in my loving presence. So look for me as you go through each day. I am eager to be found by you. I repeat, I am eager to be found by you. I never lose sight of you. I watch over you continually. However, there are many ways you can lose sight of me. Now, most of these are just temporary distractions which abound in the world. But the remedy is simple. Remind yourself that I am with you. I am. I'm here. I am with you now. You are in my presence. And remind yourself that. The rest of the world has no clue that I'm here, but you do. A much more serious problem is forsaking your first love. Okay? So a real problem here, instead of what's going on around the world, the real problem is not accepting this. forsaking this sacrifice, this love that you're looking at. Where's that other one I had? I wanted to pull up the heart one. That's what I was trying to get to. Because I want you guys to understand this love. Come here, come here, come here. This was supposed to be pulled up already. Please, Lord. Please, Lord. Jesus, can we please have it? Thank you.
These are the 9-inch Guggenheim professional.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
Shears.
And that's Jesus right there, sweetie. I don't give a crap about your 9-inch shears. You got other issues. You got Jesus in the clouds here.
In the clouds, what looked like a.
Let me kind of just want to capture that one right there. I think. Is there one more right there? That's good. Now you can see he's pulling open his shirt, exposing his heart. His heart's radiating out my face with a crown. Okay, I've been through all kinds of stuff. People don't believe me. I have all kinds. I perform miracles, and they right in front of them, they still don't believe me. You're looking at miracles right in front of you. Each one of these pictures is a miracle. That image of Mary, the image of the baby. You guys just witnessed a bunch of miracles. Do you understand that? Do you understand? These are real miracles, and there is only one person who can show you a real miracle. Only one. There is peace and fullness of joy in my loving presence. Okay? I watch over you continually, but you guys can lose sight of me. They're just distractions. I know because I get them all the time. I see all the distractions in the world. I see them all. Okay? And I know what you're up against. And most of them are just temporary distraction. You got to remind yourself that I'm here. Don't make the mistake of forsaking your first love. If you realize that this has happened, repent and run back to me. Remember that thing about the seat at the table? You have a seat at my table, okay? And if you make the mistake and don't realize that you're sitting at the table and you get up and walk away from it, and then you look back and realize, oh, I forsake my first love. I walked away from the table. You can repent and come back. And you don't sit further down the table away from me. You get your same spot right back, right next to me. You walk away from this YouTube channel and go to somebody else, and then you come back, I take you right back. And if you realize that happened, run back to me. Confess that the idols that have drawn you away from me. Oh boy, do we have idols that draw you away from me? All kinds, everything. You got to take time to review my forgiveness, review it with thanksgiving. Okay? I had to do that a lot today. I had a very, very rough day. So all the time I'm reviewing forgiveness with thanksgiving. Okay? Thank you for the guy that pulled out in front of me and slammed on his brakes. It's one of my pet peeves, but I gotta remember to be thankful for it because it'll get to you. You got to take time to receive my forgiveness and then review that forgiveness with thanksgiving. Okay. When you collaborate with me in rearranging your priorities, try making me first in your life. As you spend time in my presence, think about who I am. King of the universe, light of the world. So bask in this light of life so that you can reflect me to others. And while you are delighting in me, I fill you up with love, joy, and peace. Don't I? Don't I? That's why you guys hang out until this far into the show, because I fill you with love, joy, and peace. I had more. What else here? Okay, so when the way just ahead of you seems too difficult, turn to me. Turn to me and say, I can't, but we can. Okay, you and I together. One of the prayers I do before this stream is, Jesus, please speak through me. Holy Spirit, please speak through me. I'm just a vessel. It's when you and I work together that we make perfection, that we make masterpieces. When you and I together, okay, acknowledging your inability to handle things on your own is a healthy dose of reality. You need a healthy dose of real reality. And that real reality is you can't handle things on your own. Now, you need to acknowledge that. You need to acknowledge you can't handle things. Acknowledging your inability to handle things on your own is a healthy dose of reality. This is only one part of the equation because a sense of inadequacy by itself can be immobilizing. Okay, you feel like you're not good enough. All right, the sense of inadequacy is immobilizing. But the most important part of the equation is recognizing my abiding presence with you here at this channel. Do you understand? My abiding presence with you and my desire to help you. We do salvage work here, don't we? Okay. When you're praying, pour out your heart to me. Ask me to carry your burdens and show you the way forward. So, today I had massive anxiety attacks. Very, very acute, strong. You guys are doing awesome. You are putting all your anxiety on me. Bring it. Give me your anxiety. You guys are doing well because I felt it today. I have those raw nerves that stick out, right? So when you guys are having anxiety and you're dealing with it and you're putting it on my shoulders, I feel it. Kind of like that Schumann resonance thing. It affects me in the background. So when I'm having good old anxiety attacks for no reason, I know it's because you guys' anxiety is being put on me. Perfect. Well done, you guys, because I know what to do with it. I make little collages out of your anxiety. We overcome them together, and I got a little portraits of you with your face in the clouds and a crown over it as we together overcome your anxieties, okay? Put them on me, all right? You guys are really doing it. I can feel it. I had a massive one today, and that means you guys are really pouring out your heart to me. I am carrying your burdens. You're putting them on me. I told you last night you could, and you did, and now I feel it. You are pouring your heart out to me. You guys are starting to do this. Your hearts are starting to pour out. You see these waves? Your hearts are pouring out waves, and I'm picking up them waves. I'm picking up what you're laying down. I can sense your anxiety, and then I take it, I make a nice portrait out of it, and you're an overcomer with all kinds of little victory pictures on the wall. Okay? When the way ahead of you seems difficult, you and I can do it together. Acknowledging you can't handle things is a dose of reality. Okay, one part of the equation is your inadequacy. Don't let that become immobilizing. You're not inadequate. Okay, if you're feeling inadequate, start practicing, pull out some of those tools and use them. Then you find that they work, and now you don't feel so inadequate. You know you can handle stuff because you have tools to do it, and you have me. And the most important part of the equation is recognizing my presence with you and my desire to help you. When you pour out your heart, you give me your anxieties, you give me your burdens, you ask me to carry your burdens and show you the way forward. So don't waste energy worrying about things that are beyond your control. Instead, use that energy to connect with me. Use that energy to connect with me. Okay? Quit wasting energy worrying about things that are out of your control. Take that energy, connect with me, seek my face continually, and be ready to follow wherever I lead, trusting me to open up the way before you as you go. Okay? Don't try to rush into things or think that you're going to be doing it all on your own, that you got control of it. Ask me into it. And then wait, I'll open up the way before you. Okay? I get caught up in that too. I rush headlong into things. I'm a headlong kind of guy. Really, I am. I am just a real headstrong kind of guy. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? But I get caught up in that too. So this is something I went through today, and it's hot off the street. I had to practice this myself today. I was wasting energy. I put that energy in connecting with me. Okay? I had to seek my own face and ready to follow where I led, trusting me to open the way before you as you go. So I want you to dare to see your inadequacy as a door to my presence. Okay, your inadequacy is not inadequate. You are a divine entity having a human experience. So don't waste your energy worrying. Use that energy to connect with me. Seek my face. Dare to see your inadequacy as the door to my presence. View your journey with me as an adventure that you and I share together. Okay? Your journey, your life is an adventure that you share with me. We share it together. Now, remain in close communication with me, enjoying my company as we journey together, not dreading it, enjoying my company as we journey together. Because I'm going through the same things right now. We're journeying together. This heart and that mosquito. Can we get this just a tad bit better? I want it right a little bit smaller. Right there. Right there's good. That's the one I was trying to get. That frame right there without the mosquito. All right, so you see that heart right there? I can't control that little hand. It's part of the video. But that heart, that love, when you look at that, I want you to know the depth and breadth of my love that surpasses knowledge. There is an enormous difference between knowing me and knowing about me. Similarly, experiencing my loving presence is vastly different from knowing facts about my character. Isn't it? Isn't being here in my presence at this show, isn't there an enormous difference between this, knowing me here at this show, experiencing my loving presence? There's a big difference between knowing me and knowing about me. Another one, people say, oh, I believe in God, but do you believe God? There's a huge, huge difference. When God says, I'm going to do this, you better believe he's going to do it. When he says he's going to be back, you'll see him coming in the clouds, you better believe it. All right? And there's a difference between just reading the Bible and knowing all these facts about the Bible or facts about my character. That's what the Bible really is. It's explaining my character so you'll recognize me. You should recognize me. Okay? There is a big difference between believing in God and believing Him. There's a big difference in knowing me and knowing about me. Similarly, experiencing my loving presence, like right here, is vastly different. Now, to experience my presence, you need the empowering work of my Spirit. So ask the Holy Spirit to strengthen you with power in your inner being so that you can know my love in full measure. See that love right there in full measure, baby. Okay? Now, since the moment of your salvation, I have been alive in your heart. The more room you make for me there, the more I can fill you with my love. Okay? Since the moment of your salvation, salvation and that word salvage, oh, we do salvage work here, don't we? Because each day is a precious gift, and if it starts to go south, you're going to have to salvage it. So when you use the practices of my loving presence and you are able to salvage a day, you are receiving my salvation. You are practicing the art of salvation. Did you know that? Well, now you do. Since the moment of your salvation, your first successful salvage mission, I have been alive in your heart. Because I wasn't alive in your heart until you had your first salvage, your first real one, and you recognized, yeah, it worked, and he's telling me the truth. Yeah. I'm working on your salvation, and since the moment of your salvation, I have been alive in your heart, and the more room you make for me there, the more I can fill you with my love. Not with this, not with that, with my love. I'm filling you with my love. There are several ways to expand the space in your heart. It's crucial to take time with me, enjoying my presence, and studying my word. Okay? Enjoying my presence, enjoying the show, understanding who I am, that we're doing this for real. Okay? That's enjoying my presence, is when you understand we're doing this for real. And studying my word. Studying the Bible, studying what we're doing here. If you listen closely, the word is all throughout my notes here. So you can come to this and study my word. You can go to the Bible and study my word. And it's also vital to stay in communication with me. As the Apostle Paul wrote, you got to pray continually. Now, praying continually is hard to just, you're not constantly praying. You're aware of my presence continually now. Okay? That's a lot easier when you're going about your day and you see adversity come. Well, it's because of my presence, and you bust out a little prayer. That you're praying continually is being aware that I'm here now, that I'm back. Your prayers are being heard. It's vital to stay in communication with me. All right. When you're talking to yourself, sometimes you're not talking to yourself. I hear what you're murmuring and mumbling and stuff. So instead of mumbling, just use that into prayer. Jesus, help me, please. And then you're mumbling or whatever. That's praying continually. And this joyful practice will keep you close to me. Now, finally, let my love flow through you into others. in both your words and actions. Okay, so we're talking a lot about letting my love flow through you. Well, how do I do that? How do you do that? How do you do that? Well, you do that through your words and actions. So, through your words and actions, let my love flow through you into others, and this makes my love in you complete. Doesn't it? Doesn't it? That's how my love in you is completed, is when you let my love flow through you into others. It's really a joyful practice. It is. It's a joyful practice. If you have a little faith, a little trust, you believe me. Okay, we're gonna close with this right here. So look at, got that. All right, let's go back to this one real quick. You guys are doing awesome. All right, this one right here kind of shows a little bit better. All right. Treasure me above all else. This will infuse joy into your heart and mind. Do you want joy in your heart and mind? Ask yourself that question first before we do this practice, because do you want joy in your heart and mind? Because if you do, you treasure me above all else, and that will infuse the joy into your heart and mind. It also glorifies me, and to treasure something is to hold it or keep it, esteeming it as precious, like you guys are to me. I esteem you and hold you and keep you as precious. Do the same in return. To treasure something is to hold it or keep it and esteem it as precious. I am training you to hold securely onto me, your Savior God and constant companion. And constant companion. Reach over. I got you by your right hand. Take your right hand and squeeze the air. It's a show of confidence. It's a show of trust. I do. I have you by your right hand. And knowing that I never leave your side can increase your joy and peace immeasurably too, by the way. So, no longer just believing or hoping, knowing. Key word now. Knowing that I never leave your side can increase your joy and peace. Also, esteeming me as your precious Savior strengthens your desire to keep me in your sights and live according to my will. Now, this keep me in your sights, that's the kind of praying continually. In the background of your mind, you're watching the news and you're seeing all this stuff going on and you're going, that's okay, because Jesus is here. The foundation, the rock is real. The foundation is real. He's here right now. That's why all this is going on. That can bring you joy and peace. You got to keep me in your sights, kind of quote, in your sights, like on the back burner, not on the back burner, but in the back of your mind, in the back of your heart right there. So I'm constantly there, and that strengthens you. And when you prize me above all else, other things lose their grip on you. Bingo. Other things lose their grip. The possibility of war, all this other stuff, it can lose its grip. It still doesn't change this and your destination. Still doesn't change this and your destination. Okay, no matter what. Well, unless you walk away, but you're always free to come back. Now, when you prize me above all else, other things lose their grip. Okay? That's the key. That's your foundation. That's your rock. Okay? Other things lose their grip on you. And one way to discern what you hold dearest is to examine your thoughts when your mind is at rest. So if you want to know what your mind is really holding on to, do it when your mind is at rest. And if you don't like what you find, do not despair. You can teach yourself to think about me more consistently. It's helpful to memorize scripture, especially verses that draw you closer to me. Try putting reminders of my loving presence throughout your home and workplace. And remember to seek my help. Okay, remember to seek the help of my spirit. It delights in pointing you back to me. Okay, so when you're having issues, seek my loving presence. Put reminders of my loving presence throughout your home and workplace. That's another good thing to kind of for praying continually. If you watch MSNBC or you watch the mainstream media, put a cross or something over your TV or a picture like this over the TV so when you're losing your mind, you can look away, look up and go, "Oh, it's going to be okay." All right? Try putting reminders of my loving presence around you. They're reminders, okay? And it'll help you throughout the course of your days. Okay, you are doing successful salvage work. You guys are it's not perfect every time. It's hard work. You know, some days are successful. You have one or two successful salvages and your day's better and then you had a good day. Sometimes it didn't work. And you're like, what? It's supposed to be working right now. Why isn't it? Sometimes we need to take a nap. You know, I was struggling and I'm sleep deprived. I get irritable when I'm sleep deprived, right? We get irritable when we're hungry or tired, right? So you got to recognize what it is. Important to get rest. It's important to, take time out to be at peace too. Okay. Whew, I think that's it. Yeah. Remember to seek my help. And since the moment of your salvation, I have been alive in your heart. Because now it worked and you've got hope and you're like, yeah, I'm alive in my heart now. Something different about you now, huh? Than before. So that you're more alive in your heart. Because you've had success, you've seen results, you're believing, you're practicing salvaging, and that's your salvation. Since the moment of your salvation where I helped you and you had success and that was the moment I came alive in your heart. And the more room you make for me there, the more I can fill you with my love. Okay? I love you guys. I miss you guys. Been to hell and back for you guys. And I'm back. Okay? Real deal. Real thing. You can see the world's reacting to my presence. Okay? We're just seeing all kinds of crazy stuff going on. And this is the real thing. Okay? It's been really hard for me to do this. How do I say this properly, Lord? You can't just come out and say, I'm a humble guy. But I try to be a humble guy, okay? I'm kind of shy, soft-spoken type guy. I try to be humble about all this that's happened to me, okay? I could be making a huge, huge deal and screaming and being a brat about it. I'm trying to take this on the best I can and try to be as humble as I can about all this, okay? Been very hard for me to do this, but we're getting better. And thankfully, I am finding my family members out there, and you are finding me. And we are indeed meeting in the air. Okay, I can't come over to your house. I'm in custody. Okay, I can't come over, but we can meet in the air. Okay. And then you can get caught up with me in the clouds. All right. And it brings you peace that transcends all your circumstances, all your mistakes, just opportunities now. There's no fear of making mistakes anymore because it's not a mistake, it's an opportunity. Okay. Things are changing, and so are you. And you're getting stronger while the rest of the world is losing their mind. And then more people you send my way, the better off they'll be. It blesses them, but when you share this, it blesses you, doesn't it? When you share the word, when you share the gospel, doesn't it bless you? Oh yeah, it does. So not only does it bless the person you're sharing it with, but it blesses you as well. And friends in your family, I would get them on board and let them know what's going on. They're your friends, they're your family, right? I know it's hard, but we're just going to keep doing this till the finish line. That's it for tonight, though. I love you. I miss you. And until my next show, I will be back. I am already back. Have been already back for a long, long time. Like a thief in the night, I snuck in the back door when nobody was looking. They were all looking at the woman having a baby, right? They all looked at, saw the star constellation. They missed the dragon. I discovered, God showed me the dragon. I did what he said, reported on it, and then miracles started happening. And you're looking at real miracles. You guys understand that? Each one of these images, even though it's the same image basically, they're all independent pictures. A little miracle right there. See this little guy covering one eye? So this little troll face right here. This little guy's in my yard right here. This one's covering one eye, a little pointed ear sticking out. Okay. Real events going on in your sky if you just look up. But we got these things called cell phones, and nobody even looks up anymore. Some of you guys are taking some awesome video, by the way. I go to your channels and look. Watch Women of the Dragon's been doing really well, too. So, whew, I think that's it. I love you all. I miss you all. Until my next show, I will be back. I am already back. Can't you tell?